Morning, folks. We've got another packing story to tell you about packing a couple dead guys out of the Spanish Peaks up in Montana. Poor old devils got hit by lightning and we had to go in and get them and bring them out on horseback. Spanish Peaks Wilderness is up there just outside of Big Sky, Montana, between the Gallatin and Madison. It was one of my favorite places to go for years, especially summer pack trips. It's the only place in the world you can buy a bighorn sheep tag over the counter. Everything else is a drawing, and some take 50 years to draw a tag, but you could buy a tag over the counter, and as soon as 6 or 7 rams were killed, they would shut the season down. So there was hundreds of guys from all over the world showed up every year. And to me, it wasn't much of a hunt. The sheep never got that big. As soon as they reached legal 3/4 size, somebody killed them, and they were kind of a small local race of sheep anyway. But anyhow, when I rode for the search and rescue, and one year we got a call opening week into sheep season, 2 guys got struck by lightning and got killed up on top. So we went in and pack out these dead guys, and they were crossing from one drainage to another, way above the tree line. And you never want to be above tree line in the summertime or early fall anywhere in the Rockies, because storm can come in and so quick, five minutes, and you're caught out in the open. And there was no better lightning rod in the world than a shod horse. So these 2 boys were crossing that high country from the head of one drainage to another, and one of them had 1 pack horse behind him, and the second guy had 2 pack horses tailed together. And we don't know which one got hit first, but they were both dead. And the lead guy was laying there kind of bent in two, and he didn't have a mark on him, and his horse was dead, and it was all burnt up. And the second guy, he was burnt up bad. All his hair was gone, his skin was black, and he was stretched out like a plank of wood. And his saddle horse survived, and one of the pack horses survived, and the third one was dead, and it was all burned up. So these guys been laying there about a day and a night before we get up there to them, and they're pretty stiff and pretty puffed up and swollen, and it wasn't a pretty sight. So the one guy that was bent over, it wasn't any problem. We wrapped him up in a canvas manny and got him up on a Decker pack saddle and lashed him down on a mule and ready to go. But that second guy, like I say, he was stiff as a board, and we didn't know what the hell to do. We had one old timer with us, and he was just sitting there on his horse with his arms crossed on the saddle horn. He says, throw a rope around his hind legs and drag him over that tree. And the only tree for miles up there, a little bristlecone about 4 foot high. So we drug him over there, and we got a rope around his shoulders and the one around his feet, and put his belly behind that tree, and 2 guys on horseback took a dolly, and they just started pulling, bending him in two. And you know that sound that celery makes when you snap it in two? Wasn't quite that snap. Have you ever bent frozen celery? It's kind of a mushy snap, and that's how this guy's spine sounded, and a couple of popping sounds. And of course, one whole horse would pull harder than the other, and he'd slip off that tree, and we'd have to re-rig this deal. And I'm telling you, there wasn't a word spoken. Everybody was pretty somber. And finally, we got that guy bent in two, and got him up on a mule, lashed him down, and got those dead guys out of that country. And I think we took a few extra pack animals, so we got most of their camp gear to give to their families. And we had to go back eventually and get the horses, because you can't leave a dead horse in grizzly habitat, because they learn to feed on horses. So that was about a 2-week ordeal, and I mean, tell you, things got pretty tough at the end. Them horses been laying there 2 weeks. But anyhow, that's my story about packing out dead guys. And I might add, to this day, I still eat celery, but I cut it with a knife.